This was a magical backpack. No matter how many books you put inside, all it took was a gentle pull on the strap, and the large backpack would instantly shrink into a small one. Watching his son spinning around with joy, the father helped put the backpack on the boy's shoulders. The weight of it made the child sway, struggling to keep his balance. Yet he was still overjoyed. It was his first day of school. After saying goodbye to his son, the father grew gloomy. Carrying his own heavy briefcase, he walked into the familiar office building, opened the briefcase, and pulled out thick stacks of work documents. The lifeless atmosphere stood in sharp contrast to his lively, energetic son. In the classroom, the cheerful boy scribbled doodles all over his paper. Delighted, he showed his drawings to the teacher, but she sternly took them away, telling him to practice writing the letters on the page properly. Unyielding, the boy tapped into his imagination again, and wrote a string of fancy, stylized letters. As time wore on, the father's upright posture gradually began to slump. He finally finished all his work just before quitting time, eager to leave and reunite with his son. Seeing his father waiting at the school gate, the boy dropped his backpack, raced over happily, and as they hugged, the color returned vividly to the father's world. The son handed him a little flower he had drawn, but the father frowned. The boy, waiting for praise, noticed the change in his father's expression, and his face filled with disappointment and hurt. The next day, he put the heavy backpack on again, and was once more taken to school by his father. Day after day, the same routine repeated. Little by little, the boy began to voluntarily put away his doodles, writing neat, careful letters stroke by stroke. When school ended, he no longer rushed out with the same excitement, though he still hugged his father as before. This time the color didn't return to his father's world. Looking at his son in his arms, the father held him tight, suddenly afraid. This time, the color came back to the father, but it began to fade from the boy. As more time passed, the son started to willingly stretch out his arms, to receive the backpack that looked small, but felt heavy enough to crush him. In class, he no longer doodled during lessons. Just like the other students around him, he became a well-behaved, obedient child. This time, he didn't hug his father. Instead, he handed him a perfect report card. Walking past the big tree on the way home, he still paused to listen to the beautiful melody playing nearby, but now there was no trace of his earlier joy in it. Looking at his son's flawless report card, the father couldn't feel happy. He didn't know if his insistence all along had been right or wrong. The next morning, on the way to school, he suddenly took out that nonsensical doodle from before. Right then, he decided to follow his son's heart, and join him in pursuing what he loved. Hand in hand, they walked to the bright, colorful tree in the city center, but the violinist was no longer there. Dejected, the son turned and headed toward school. Then the boy noticed his father wasn't following. He looked back, and saw his father standing under the tree, briefcase in hand. His father set down the briefcase, then, mimicking the violinist's posture, began to play for his son. In that moment, all he wanted was to see his son happy again. Watching the color slowly return to his son, the color also came back to the father. He realized, happiness could be so simple after all.